any other industry that the technology hasn't changed since 1837? I can't. I thought maybe it's time. Maybe there's got to be something better. So things improve over sometime. So maybe this is the time. I'm not sure. Well, I'd started playing guitar, a few years earlier, and then once skill level kind of increased, I started looking to buy a better instrument. And so I was doing a lot of research. I didn't want to just go out and buy the first guitar I saw, and I was trying to learn what is a good instrument. So during all this research, I found a lot of different technologies, a lot of different things that I liked, a lot of things I thought were odd. But one of the things that was true across the board was a lot of these instruments were pretty expensive. And a lot of them still continued to have similar problems over time with warped necks, neck resets, string adjustment, the action height of the strings above the frets. So I just wanted to try to solve a lot of problems, that with an instrument that I would own for a lifetime and maybe even hand down, So one of the things I was looking at on one of the instruments that I really liked the sound of was a Thomas Rhine guitars. He's out of St. Louis. His website said in order to understand the soundboard of a guitar, how you need to build a soundboard of a guitar, you have to imagine a guitar with the strings installed with no soundboard. You perform a mental exercise, it says, to try to visualize a guitar with no top on it, with strings. So whenever you do this, you realize, well, you got to have the top. Part of the function is not just to generate sound as far as resonate with the strings and amplify the sound of the strings. The other function of the soundboard is to structurally withstand the strength of 130 pounds of force, on the soundboard. Ideally, to make the sound better, you want a thinner layer. The soundboard needs to be thinner and thinner. The thinnest ones are the ones that sound the best and lightly braced. But you can't, you have to have that for structural integrity. So, this just kind of made me think, how can I thought about this probably a little more than I should have. How could I make a guitar with no strings on it? String a guitar with no top on it, So my wheels started turning, and I came up with a solution to this with an aluminum frame. And I thought about other metals, but aluminum turned out would have to be the one. And I came up with this frame. I don't know if you can see this in the shot. So as you can see, they have the neck, and you could have the strings attached here, no soundboard, and you could have the strings attached here with no top on it. And this is a plate that goes underneath the bridge. And this plate that goes underneath the bridge, so whenever I started initially thinking about it, I thought I could connect it with this aluminum rod stock. It's like 1/4-inch rod stock somewhere up here under the neck of the guitar. And I thought, as I thought about it more, I thought, why not make that adjustable? You know, I've got this screw on the back. It kind of replaces a truss rod adjustment. Almost every guitar with a wooden neck will have a truss rod. Either the screw will be at the top or it'll be inside the sound hole, or you can adjust it with an Allen wrench. Well, I replaced that. There's no truss rod in this. It has a aluminum flat surface under the fretboard, and it has perpendicular, like a T configuration, that is concealed inside the neck. What I did is I just took a normal mahogany neck and I just ripped it down the center, and made it like 1/4 round. Lengthwise, I ripped it down the center, and then I attached it to this aluminum with epoxy. And the adjustment of this plate under the bridge, there's a hinge here, and I don't know if you can see it in this camera, but whenever you adjust this screw, it can pull the bridge down, or if you turn it the other way, it'll push the bridge out. So you can make the pressure out. You can make the pressure on the bridge pushing out on the strings and raise the strings up from the frets. It can slightly adjust the action of the strings. You can lower it. You can lower the bridge or raise the bridge. So that'll do a couple of different things. Like I say, it'll adjust the action of the strings, and it can also affect the tone of the guitar. So also this tends to make the guitar ring. It has a resonance to it, kind of like a tuning fork.
Well, it's one of those things that I had not played this before, but it's right here on the top. So it's pointed right up at your face. One of the things that I get is that you get this huge low end. And I think even the microphones pick this up somewhat. Especially low E or a drop D or something like that, you get this really powerful low end, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's interesting. It's very different than a Martin or guitar with a traditional sound hole in the middle, because actually a lot of times it sounds better when somebody's sitting where you are playing it my direction, right? You don't actually get the best of it until you're out in front of it.
Kind of an intimate experience.
Sure.
Since you're the one playing it, it's coming kind of back up at you a little bit versus projecting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of projecting toward my face. Really interesting. I've not had that. But and I think the microphones do pick it up somewhat, but from this vantage point where your ear is right here, I mean, it's like, it's a big old low end. And for some things, that's really cool.
I was looking at a lot of different guitars. Like I said, there's a McPherson, I think it's an Irish-made guitar. That they didn't have. I noticed they didn't have a sound hole on the soundboard. They had a sound hole on the side, and then there's Boulder Creek. They have a sound hole on the side, and I wanted to capture that because part of the reasoning for that is it's dual in nature, I guess. Whenever you're playing it, it's made for the player, basically. I think that may even be a slogan or, I don't know, a trademark or something for Boulder Creek. I'm not for sure, but I know they say made for the player. It projects the sound up. If a performing artist with a sound hole in front would like to project they use that to project the sound out towards their audience. Well, my audience is normally just me. I sit on my couch and I play, whatever, and so the sound comes straight up at you, and you can hear it a lot better. And the other thing was that I wasn't going to lose any of this mass for the soundboard. The soundboard, that's where you get your sound. So, and I wanted it to be low and deep, and I wanted it to resonate and sustain. Once you get all that mass moving, then it's going to stay in motion and resonate, sustain longer. That's my theory anyway, and I think it's probably true. That's part of the reason that brought me here today was to try to see how this guitar compares with a Martin guitar, which, that Martin is the one that everybody's been chasing since 1837 or whenever it was they started that forward X bracing design. And that's another thing about this design that I was thinking, I think to myself, what industry, can you name any other industry that the technology hasn't changed since 1837? I can't. Not much. You know what I mean? So I thought maybe it's time. Maybe there's got to be something better. So things improve sometime. So maybe this is the time. I'm not sure.